And now what we're calling Journey to the Broughton Archipelago, a week-long look at one of the most breathtaking areas along coastal BC and the source of a heated public debate. Here's Deb now with tonight's Insight. Deb?
Well, Tony, fish farms have been nothing but controversial since they started business on our west coast, and the central question hasn't changed. Are BC's fish farms having a negative impact on our wild salmon? Tonight we take you, as you said, to the Broughton Archipelago and the head of Knight Inlet, home to dozens of fish farms. There's been an enormous amount of research done on this topic by those for and against the farms, but despite all of that, there are surprisingly few definitive conclusions. Catherine Pope now with the first of a 5-part series.
Our journey begins on board a float plane, flying from Campbell River to the head of Knight Inlet. This is the longest fjord on the BC coast, a visual feast of natural beauty, where dolphins frolic in the wake of passing boats, and wildlife abounds in the pristine wilderness. The region is also becoming the new frontier in adventure tourism, where heliskiers can get picked up off a luxury yacht and find themselves careening down fresh, untouched powder in minutes. We travel up the Kwicksutaineuk River to First Nations territory and the start of the traditional Untitled fishery.
We've got a huge stack of Untitled here. You just caught these?
Yesterday and today, yeah.
Yeah. And
this is a small stack, but but on a good day we can fill it up in a couple days.
The Untitled are an integral part of the West Coast First Nations diet. They use it as a cooking oil and condiment.
It's good stuff. It's called smoke here.
That's pretty good, eh? It actually is pretty good.
But in recent years, there have been fewer Untitled to catch, and First Nations are noticing dramatic drops in other fish stocks.
There's been a sharp decline in pink stocks, coho, steelhead, chinook. Local sockeye-bearing streams here are basically almost extinct.
There is no commercial salmon fishery in this region anymore. Hasn't been for years. Why? Well, that is a controversy that flows through every part of this region.
This is Knight Inlet, one of the most beautiful waterways in the Broughton Archipelago. And it is here that some of the largest fish farming companies in the world have set up operations. So this has become ground zero in the battle for and against salmon farming.
Aquaculture is worth $600 million to the BC economy. This province is the world's 4th largest producer of farmed fish. And in the Broughton Archipelago, there are 29 fish farms.
There's no way salmon farming has had any effect on the wild stocks out here in BC.
In some areas of this archipelago, the sea lice coming from the salmon farms are killing up to 95% of the young wild salmon.
The sea lice and just how deadly they are to the wild salmon is at the center of this conflict. After the collapse of the pink run in 2002, the DFO began an investigation. But while the research continues, the wild fish stocks seem to keep disappearing.
They say there's no proof. Well, how much proof is proof anyway?
Dick Michelson spent over 60 years fishing in this area.
There hadn't been any commercial fishing at all since the fish farm moved in. And they're still trying to tell us there's no connection between the sea lice.
At the First Nations Guilford village, fishing was once the economic lifeblood of the residents. But today, their boats lie in ruin on the beach.
Well, wild salmon is one of those resources that just defines who we are as a people.
And Village Chief Bob Chamberlain has many questions about the impact of fish farms on wild salmon.
And so when we have the aquaculture, the open net cage aquaculture come in here and bring the impacts that they do, it really troubles us as they hit us at the very foundation of who we are.
That's why he and so many others from the region question whether fish farms are good for BC, and if so, at what price. In the days to come, we'll continue our journey into the Broughton Archipelago and look at both sides of the issue.
And you can get more on both sides of this debate by checking out their websites, www.wildbcsalmon.ca and www.salmonfarmers.org. And Tony, that's tonight's Insight.